How we doing, people? It's yours truly, going solo, unfortunately. Don't worry about Teach, although I'm not gonna lie. The fact that we've said Teach is back X amount of times this year, and mainly it because of it being meme material, it it won't ever get old at this rate. It's very justifiable, and hell, I'm all here for it. So let's be real now. So that being said, let's turn some music on and let's get to it. So, to say the least, as far as TwitchCon goes, I've always wanted to attend a big event like this, and there's always been something that's happened. Most of the time, it's about money, but as far as TwitchCon goes, number one, it's always out west. So, as far as making arrangements with a good friend of mine who knows the cities, usually between Manhattan's easy because we would just take the train together and we'd we got free parking to a place and then we just take the Metro North over to Grand Central Station and go from there, or possibly take it to another stop. Either way, Henn, New York's not a problem for me. Boston, he knows it by the back of his hand, and we would just go from there. Out west is always the trouble. But another one would be, I just take my phone off vibrate so I don't hear the noise. The other one would be mainly because when it came to Twitch people, I don't think I've ever been I don't think I've ever been involved enough, and I don't think I'm just I guess I'm not too involved enough. I just don't think if I had a ticket, I'd be taking that spot away from somebody else. Does that make any sense? Like, let's say there's X amount of tickets. There's one person who could have been there, and he probably takes it more seriously and has a bigger following than I do when I'm kind of just taking up real estate. So I feel like somebody more deserving deserves that ticket. That's the way I've always looked at it. This camera's pretty weird having it on the big screen, man. It really is. Everyone sees the window I've dumped so many drinks out of and on top of the grill and into the freaking driveway. My God. Just noticing it. Honestly, Brad, it's a great question. I really have no idea, but I can imagine the revenue as well as a fire marshal and everything else will only let so many people in. Like when they do Anime Expo and such, and there's people that are waiting in line for 3 to 4 hours, it's like, did you not hire enough staff? Did you not have enough volunteers? Like, what are you even doing? Like, cut the bullshit. TwitchCon Vegas, San Francisco, like, I don't know how it works, but again, me personally, even though I do have a Twitch affiliation, I just don't think I'm worthy of being there, if that makes any sense. Correct me if I'm wrong. But to say the least, there's a couple of things that happened at this last TwitchCon that grinds my absolute freaking gears. Absolutely grinds my gears. For starters, the one thing that I saw that was interesting was having known Kick creators. Kick, are you just having this cult of people like actually invading TwitchCon to fuck up the whole program for publicity? Like for instance, Action Man got approached by security and was basically kicked out, and he's like going on this VOD, and people, of course, post clips of him all the time because they got nothing better to do and they worship by absolute fucking douchebag. And they're like, oh, you have no right. Well, I'm sorry. You're 35 years old and you look like a school blaster for starters. You're an absolute professional retard. Maybe that's why they kicked you out. You ever see like when you go to retail and you go to the cashier, there's like these number of things for like returns. There's one that says, at least where I work, We have the right to refuse business from anybody without a given reason. To me, that's rude. And honestly, when it comes to people like him and Neon, and you go down the line of professional douchebags for a living, I have no issue if you want to kick him out. It's just, again, it's your rules or anything else. So if whoever's on top of Twitch and has the authority, you're just like, kick him out. Why? Because I don't like him and it's my business. He's not invited. Fuck him. That's why. Got every right, in my opinion. You do. That's just me. So going forward with it, some of the things that I just saw from the Twitch account, of course, they're only going to post the dangerous stuff. Like, I remember the one thing that was scary, in my opinion, was, Jesus Christ, this fly's like annoying the hell out of me. I don't know how I got in. But nonetheless, I saw a kid. Now, even though it wasn't a train, this guy got pushed into a train. And you just see him with his sunglasses and he's got his GoPro. He's got he's doing a VOD or whatever the case may be. I don't care if it's a bus. I don't care, whatever the case may be. Careful who you do shit to. I hope that was, apparently it was staged. Some say it was not. But just hear me out. If somebody's going to push you into a moving vehicle, I don't care if you get a paper cut. I don't care if you see stars or, God forbid, anything else. If someone were to do that to me, that's life and death. They would get beaten the bricks off of. Absolutely beaten the bricks off of. So it's actually very funny because somebody I was hanging out with, Tony. I know, Tony, me. So first off, he thought Action Man was a school blaster again, which he was not. And I told him, and that's when we looked up his age, and I'm like 35, and I'm like, dude, you gotta do something about that hair or something, because you are an absolute menace with that haircut for all the wrong reasons. It's not even funny. It's horrible. But then when he found out about the guy in the train, and he goes, dude, he would have his knees broken. He would be gasping for air. He would have both his shoulders dislocated, and he'd be left to be unalive. And I'm just like, Tony, easy, but you're not wrong. If you get pushed into a train, this ain't no anime. Zero tolerance for that shit. But despite all that nonsense, and despite kick streamers trying to ruin the party and ruin the mood, there's a couple of good things from Twitch. And Caffeinated alumni, Shock. Now, let me see if I can pull this up. Just had everything cleaned out too. Let's see. Here we go. All right. Okay. We had a couple of things going on here. Shock signed some tubs. Okay. Damn, man. I'm trying to scroll through everything. All right. Here's a good one. So you've been cool, but to see the video of Shock here, Caffeinated alumni Shock, drive his Cybertruck through a con, that doesn't get bigger cool than that. Now, granted, I hate anything and everything Tesla. That's just me. Like, I have no idea, because, I mean, it's so stupid, because the only people I see him drive Teslas, they're douchebags, or they're content creators that are also douchebags and such. Like, I've never met a practical person like myself who says, "Ooh, I have a Tesla and here we are." Now, mind you, I'm in Connecticut where you could be down your luck or you can be very well off. So it's just a mixed bag. I hate Cybertrucks, but that one I actually like. The fact that the way that it's designed, it was wrapped for TwitchCon, that was just the dopest. As well as I was very confused because the very thing that I actually found pretty interesting, and I got a couple of people DM me this throughout the past week. And that is, once I find it, I know I'm a little behind on the game. I thought there'd be more posts about it, but apparently not. Whatever. It was G Fuel having a new hydration line. It was called IQ, I believe it was. So many retweets from the con. It's ridiculous from them. Here we go. G Fuel Hydration IQ. Somehow, I weigh this and I wonder what goes on here. Just simply because we know from the Zedra can that some of the stuff they make is only for the con, then they make it for a limited run, and then they go, ta-da! Yeah, this is only for the event so people could drink this after they're hungover from after parties. Because conventions have crazy after parties. I don't know. Not my thing. I retired from camaraderie a little while ago just simply because I'm not taking care of degeneracy anymore. Just not doing it. But they had them in a couple flavors, like a white peach, anything else, a couple other things. I don't know where this is going. Am I opposed to it? No, I'm not. But once again, it's like every single time you mention something, it's like, hey, I want my own flavor. And what? Oh, how many people say, hey, I want a hydration line for my signature flavor and I'd love to have my name on it? Now, I'm pretty sure Teach wouldn't be opposed to a hydration line, of course, if he had his flavor for Glitch, but just like any creator out there, it's like, no, I want a caffeine flavor. Although, I wonder if Roman Atwood, smile more. I always wondered, because I know he quit alcohol, I know he quit caffeine. I always wondered if they were going to make his flavor in a hydration, and apparently it just never happened, but I'm just like, whoa, he's just like giving up caffeine completely and just moving out with his life? I mean, okay, I guess. Whatever. Not knocking it, not hating it, not doing that at all. I'm just curious on what the motive goes again. And speaking of which, so again, me and Teach haven't talked about it too much. But the one thing that we have talked about a few times is, would Ben from Glitch, now he's made several other companies through Fit Brands, and some of them have grown significantly. Just the amount of ingredients used is just crazy town. And he was actually doing a podcast with, it's a kick streamer called The Joker. There was Laura the Explorer on, Ben himself. I forgot the co-host. I'm very sorry. Very, very sorry. It was the first time knowing of her. But of all the things that they talked about, they're asking questions, and I go, humor me. Why the 225 milligrams of caffeine? And it was simply put as in, there's caffeine to work now, and caffeine where it's going to kick in later on for a long-lasting effect, start to finish. And there is some times where I thought I noticed an afterburner, but I always drink my energy drink slowly so it lasts throughout the day. So maybe that's why I didn't think of it. Because there's some that are like, yeah, 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 like Beavis, it's working, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, like I had no clue. But to say the least, if Ben actually came on the show, I don't know who. I don't know who would arrange that. I don't. But if it were to happen, that's one last question I have on my list. I've thought about it. I've kind of written it down vaguely. But now you know. It's been weird because I feel like there's been some interviews where there's been a lot of camaraderie and a lot of stuff as in him as the person. Because there's one other interview that he was doing, and it was more of him being part of his personal life. But it'd be very interesting if he ever comes on the show, just so we could both pick his brain a little bit. I would just be as nervous as anybody else, honestly. But just like any CEO, any, you know, we've had two of them on the show, mind you. And we do have respect for him, of course. But just any big time CEO or decision maker, we always wonder what goes through their mind, what's their mindset. And there's some people that, do not like the same idea. Like for me, if you remember Caffeinated alumni, Jimbo and Goblin, me and Teach say take thys out. And, Goblin's just like, listen, if I had my own flavor, put paint in there for all I care. It just is what it is. That's on them. Which, speaking of, apparently at TwitchCon they had a claw machine that had one of one shaker cups in there. I can't imagine what those go for. Just simply just guap. Let's see. Was this article today or son of a bitch? Did I lose it? I think I might have lost it. Gonna look through my windows just in case. I feel like here we are. Wow, I thought I pulled this into that's right. Open in Google Chrome. Okay, thank you. AMP, The Guardian, news website of the year. Okay. So I'm going to, let me see if I can pull this up here. This is pulling it up from my phone, but should be close enough. Let's see. Apparently not. The Guardian, Dakota Johnson. Maybe that'll work. So, God damn it. Okay, we have the garden. Here we go. That was quick. So let me pull up this context here. Because remember we said that somebody had no idea they were drinking caffeine? Now, I have no idea if this is just clout or if this one's trying to be something they're not, but I thought this was worth a discussion. A troubling halo of health, how Celsius became Red Bull for women. Now, keep in mind, this is a delicate subject matter. And I think that headline is a bunch of crap. Simply put, I think there are many women out there that drink Red Bull, where if it's the colored ones, blue, assorted, whatever, pick a color. I'm not sure if you go by flavor or color, or if it's the normal or the sugar-free. I know some that go with an assortment. And then some go for Alani now. Some go for Celsius too. But let's move on. I hate the title. It's clickbait. On Dakota Johnson's first day on the set for her directional debut, Lose Her Baby, she grabbed a can of Celsius, started drinking. She said she spent the rest of her day at the shoot with a Celsius in her hand, recalled feeling exaggerated, and though thought it was hard to sleep. I look on the back, it's B12, vitamin A. I thought it was vitamins. Didn't realize it was overdosing on caffeine. Okay. According to the label, you'll get an essential boost that accelerates metabolism and burns body fat, which caffeine can do that. We've proven that. We've turned out it's the equivalent of 2 cups of coffee. Depending on the cup, they say the average is between 80 and 100, or nearly 6 cans of Coke. Okay, we're just doing a number of whatever. A can of Coke isn't going to kill you. Let's be real. In a letter to the FDA, the New York senator demanded an investigation of Prime's eye-popping level of caffeine. To say the least, I really think that it was really bullshit for them to go, hey, here's the pink, but in plastic. And here's pink again, but in aluminum. With nothing else, but you gotta read the label, and from 10 feet away, a kid's not gonna know the difference of. It kind of goes like this. Gatorade, you assume it's hydration. Unless you go up there and you see something like Gatorade Energy, all caps. Fast Twitch. There hasn't been any reaction on the Gatorade Fast Twitch as in, oh my God, I confused it for caffeine. There has not been one article explaining as much. Only for the Prime. Are you telling me that the only ones drinking Prime are kids? I don't know. I really don't know. How Celsius won over women. For decades, energy drinks like Monster, Red Bull, and the caffeinated and alcoholic beverage Four Loko. Okay, stop right there. More bullshit. Four Loko was high schoolers and the frats. And the sororities, if we want to pull the gender card here. Let's cut the bullshit. These drinks were associated with energy, extreme sports, girls in bikinis. Studies of the market in energy drinks at University of Connecticut. Ironically, I'm by UConn. About an hour. Rudd Center for Food Policy and Health. One 2015 study found that men who valued masculine ideals tended to believe that consuming energy drinks made them more macho. Rob Dyrdek? Do we not think of all the action sports that are heavily involved, but do we not know that Red Bull also had a lot of deals with a good amount of female athletes? Are we just going to write that off? Leticia Buffoni? One of the best women skateboarders in the world? Native to Brazil? X Games world champion? Again, one of the best women skateboarders in the world, just for starters? The surfers, the snowboarders? No? Anybody? Crickets? Yeah. Horse shit. Moving on. Celsius follows the playbook to an extent. The brand has worked with its YouTuber and professional boxer, Jake Paul. Oh my God. Nauseating. NASCAR drivers, college football stars, despite the NCAA ban on high stimulants, including guarana. This, once again, behind on the times. So we're mentioning Four Loko, which hasn't had caffeine in over a decade. And then we go to guarana, which I'm not sure if anyone's noticed this, but guarana in a lot of energy drinks hasn't been used in some time. The caffeine use is coming from either green tea or a regular brown or a green coffee bean. How it seems Celsius clout outside of man caves and sporting events. How did it win over women? By softening up its image and tapping into the billion-dollar wellness industry. So, first off, I hate the term man cave. I do. And This is something I give back to my father. So I'm going to stop the music for this one. My father taught me, as well as my mother, this is an Italian woman, and a Brazilian and Portuguese father. They taught me how to be a gentleman from very little. Even when I was 5 years old, I'd be opening doors for people, men and women. I was just taught how to be polite. And when I see certain things like, the man cave, my father's always hated the term. So when it came to the term man cave, right? It was always like, hey, wings, beer, sports. Honey, what? 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 I'm in the man cave. No, no. As far as me and my father, when it comes to football Sundays, baseball games at night, things like that, everyone is allowed. Men, women, children. There's only there's only two rules. Well, actually, there's three. Number one, don't be an asshole. Number two, no politics. And number three, the one thing, and this is, I'm putting in this one, but some people say, what do you mean it's not a man cave? And I said, women and children are welcomed. We just don't want to be pestered with questions about the game, like the basic rules, every 10 seconds. It's like, oh, that's a first down. Did he get a touchdown? No, that's a first down. What does that mean? How explain that to me? And that goes on for a 10-minute conversation while the ball's still in play. There's no commercials. It's going forward. But that's not bad. So now that we got that out of the way, because that's something that somebody asked me a long time ago that I probably got a clip and send to somebody if I got the time. But back on to the article, if I want to even bother. Let's see. Let's scan this real quick. On TikTok. Oh, okay. So basically, it sounds like we're going the slim can, the car choices on the bottle, and the influencers they choose to promote it. Okay, so once again, we have brands, right? Were there influencers back in 2005? No. So that kind of just cuts it off right here. This article is, to my eyes, we call it bullshit. This was published September 19th, 2024 by Alania Demopoulos. I definitely butchered that and I sincerely apologize. But we're going by feminine stereotypes. And I just don't think that's good. The liquid has become more than the ingredient in the can. We want Celsius to be like the Apple logo or Starbucks logo or the iconic Monster Energy claw. It's on its way, third largest energy drink company in the US. A cult behind the drink has emerged among wellness-minded women. Again, right? It just comes down to whatever you like. And there's some people that will say, again, you want to know who founded Alani? A woman influencer. Honestly, really. That's who formed it. And I see men and women drink it. The reason why we have gone on to those who enjoy Celsius is simply because doesn't matter what your poison is. We go by what works for us. It could be caffeine dosage, it could be better ingredients, it could be less dyes, it could be the vitamin amount. And if this is going to be solely based on caffeine, oh, Red Bull Monster. Well, I hate to break this to you, and so many people are going to say that they're out of line here, but if you go by ingredients, Celsius has more caffeine than a Monster or a Red Bull. 8-ounce Red Bull, 12-ounce Red Bull, 16-ounce Red Bull, regular 16-ounce Monster. A 12-ounce Celsius can has more caffeine. It has 200 milligrams. I know a 12-ounce Red Bull is 112. I know a 16-ounce can of Monsters between I think it's 160, minimum 140, but it's definitely no more than 160 last time I checked. I actually had one today. It was the Paradise, the Kiwi Lime. Let's see. Joe Lewis, a 58-year-old publicist, live in Toronto, calls herself a reformed Celsius junkie. She's been off the stuff for about a month after drinking 5 to 6 cans a day for 2 or 3 years. If I was hungry, instead of having a snack, I'd have a Celsius and feel full. Started drinking Celsius because the label promoted to boost her metabolism and provide an energy kick. Worked out all the time, looking for hacks. It wasn't until one of the adult children she had told her to stop drinking the beverage after she realized it wasn't as healthy as she initially thought. So, this summer, the Wall Street Journal published a report on young women with eating disorders who drank Celsius to feel full without having to eat proper meals. The head of adolescent medicine at the Cleveland Clinic told the Journal that a third of the hospital's eating disorder patients consume energy drinks. Celsius declined to comment for that piece. The drink does not market itself as a meal replacement. Correct. So, once again, there's hydration, there's energy, then there's protein, in my opinion. So this actually changes the game. This is some stuff that me and Teach have not thought about. Now, we've always said this, and there's always been signs: eat breakfast, not an energy drink. An energy drink is not breakfast. But the fact that we got people with eating disorders that are just drinking caffeine and keeping it moving, it's the same thing when I see guys who are electricians who all they have for breakfast is a cup of coffee and a couple Marlboro Reds. It's ridiculous. Now, if you want it, okay, Brian, I'll say this. If you want to have an energy drink with breakfast, I'm not going to lie to you. There's some times where it's 8 o'clock in the morning, I've eaten, and I said, you know what? I got a long day ahead. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got going. Keep her moving. Not knocking it. I'm not. But there's are things that just make you go nuts. They really do. it's it's honestly sad reading this. It really is. This is a whole big article, and I'm glad that most of it was, I hope you enjoyed this, passionate about it, blah, blah, blah. Then it goes into politics, and the editor, her name is Betsy Reed. Oh, it's a support thing to help the website. Get the fuck out of here. For any of those curious, I will put this on the Twitter, but here it is right here in the comments. But honestly, this is sad, man. That's sad. I did not know. I did not know that this was a thing, and maybe that's just because I've been naive. I don't know if it's because I didn't put one and two together, but that's honestly sad because I know some people with eating disorders. I know some people, if it's good or bad, and that honest to God breaks my heart. It does. And the reason why me and Teach started this program was simply because we wanted to help people and entertain people and nothing more. We never wanted to have anyone be on a path of destruction or bring somebody into the darkness instead of the light, because that's definitely not our style. Yeah, gut wrenching for sure. But I definitely have to do some more research here. I mean, out of date for sure, but wow. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna have um I'm gonna have it leave I'm gonna have it be oh my god, I can't speak English. That criminy. I'm gonna leave it on that note. I hope I entertained you guys for a little bit. Uh Teach, hopefully he feels better for next weekend, and hopefully we go on from there. Also, I'm not sure if he's going to watch the episode or not. He might. So I'm just going to go by this. There's a brand that I have vaguely talked about, but he has not tried. And because of TikTok Shop, first time ever on TikTok Shop over the weekend, I actually was scrolling on there, and sure enough, behold, a it's not a starter kit. It's technically it's a six pack. A six pack of a brand he's never tried is going to arrive on his doorstep. He has no idea what it is. There's a flavor in there I have not tried before. And hopefully he, as well as maybe Recon, we'll see. We'll see. No promises. They both got busy lives. We'll see if they could try it sometime. And I got to work on a package to send to them eventually because I've been milking that and been trying to save lately, but it's been hard. With that, everybody, please throughout the next week, hope everyone's in a good bill of health. I hope everyone's feeling all right. Please be safe, have fun. Make sure you nourish, drink your freaking water. As always, stay caffeinated. We both love you. Please take it easy. Lotus. And good luck to those people with their NFL season, unlike me and my fantasy team.